What is up, Honey Badger Nation, man? Welcome to Expert Mentors Live, and I'm super excited. We've got the one and only Nicole Ambrose back on with us. What up?
Hey.
Nicole, great having you. I know we tried before the year ended, and some nasty virus wiped you out, and so being able to get rescheduled and help us kick off the new year. So I'm really excited to jump in with you. And for those of you that did not, get a chance to see the previous episode with Nicole, it was, I think, November, December, we wrapped up 22. You were one of that helped us wrap that season, that year up. And, I shared that episode quite a bit, and I share it for a couple things. One is the use of new home builders and the power of video and the power of perception. And I had Kenny Trong on at the end of it helped us wrap up the end of last year. And Kenny made a really good point, and I know it's one of the things that we'll get into it, as it is one of the challenges. And Kenny's out in the Bay Area, and he was just sharing the statistics of where the market has gone, and like listing inventory, active listing inventory from the end of 23 versus the end of 22 in the Bay Area that he was focused on was like down 80%.
Absolutely.
And he's like, I had to go back to when I got in the business and what helped propel my business. And I grew my business on Instagram.
Me too.
He said, I had to go back to that foundation. Mm-hmm. And he goes, how I started is that I gave the perception that I was busier than really what I was. And then all of a sudden I was just that busy. And what you shared on that previous episode, but the biggest nugget, and I know so many people miss this, the way you do open houses I'll challenge anybody to do a better open house strategically of how you go about it. It's amazing. It's a game changer if you're doing open houses. So for those of you guys that missed that previous episode, I think it's like episode 198, 199, somewhere in there. We're episode 245. We've got Nicole back, and we're definitely going to jump into the challenges we're facing heading into the new year, but really where the hidden opportunities are and how to get out in front of it. So Nicole, welcome. Great having you back.
Thank you for having me back. And just let me say this. I love your intro music. I was over here like, hey.
People appreciate that.
Yes, I love it. I love it. That had got me all in the group. I was ready. I'm ready now.
Let's go. So give just a quick little 2-minute background, just kind of bring everybody up to speed. Honey Badger Nation, 14,000 plus just in the Facebook group, let alone we can't even track, how deep the roots run, just the way the game is set up within EXP and kind of where our levels fall. We can track up to so far, but it runs so much deeper than that within the Honey Badger kind of bloodline, if you will. So just for those that have not had the opportunity to connect with you, just bring us up to speed a little bit about yourself.
Perfect. So guys, I'm Nicole Ambrose, and I would be remiss if I didn't throw this in here. The biggest thing that you want to know about me is that I'm about to have my first grandbaby, March 4th. Shout out to Denver. I have 2 daughters, Kennedy and Ashley. Ashley is also a real estate agent, and Ashley is giving me my first grandson, Denver. So I'm really excited about that. But outside of that, I'm a real estate agent. Thank you. I've been a realtor for 6 years now. I've sold about 500 homes in that time frame, a little over 6.5 years. And I'm a single agent. Never thought about being a part of a team just because of where the market has been before. Now, as we start talking about challenges, I may be changing that theory, but up till now, I've been a individual agent. I've ranked the number 3 agent in Atlanta, the number 8 agent in Atlanta for units sold. And more importantly, I know that God put me here to lead people to financial freedom through home ownership and investing. And I take it serious. And I know that I can't do that charge alone. So the thing that if I had, people always ask you, what do you dislike and like the most about yourself? I would say the thing that I love the most about myself is that I am a avid avid advocate of sharing information with people. So I'm an information highway, and I love to just give information about real estate. It's my purpose. It's my passion. It's what I've been put here to do. And I just love it.
So let's dive right in. So what is the information that agents need to be paying attention to, that kind of a little bit of a, maybe something, hey, you need to be aware of this going in before we really get into the goods of the opportunities? And, but yeah, what are you seeing information wise that a lot of agents aren't paying attention to that could be a red flag, or even avoid it altogether? Could be that 2x4 that kind of knocks you out.
I really think that we were in, I really believe that COVID was a gift and a curse, right? And it was a curse for all of the people that passed away. So not in that sense. I'm strictly talking about the real estate sense and business in general. COVID was a gift and a curse. So many people were at home, and it gave us an opportunity to really brand and market simply on social media, because people had nothing else to do. They were in the house, so they were watching social media pages, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They were watching those pages like crazy, and it created a lot of influencers based on people that were just showing up, not necessarily the people that were the most knowledgeable. Some people are going to have a challenge with me saying that, but it's the truth. There were people who showed up in our marketplace that were very, very good at marketing, from a sense of they knew how to show up, they knew how to brand, they knew how to market on social media. But now that we're in a time where we're experiencing the aftermath of COVID, just going on social media is not going to be enough. It's a big part of what we have to do. But I think I love what you said in the beginning. We're having to go back to the basics. You got to go back to boots on ground. You got to go back to open houses. You got to go back to home buying seminars. People are no longer in a position. People were so attracted during COVID because money was coming in. Government was giving money. Money was coming in from so many different places that people had money. So they were very frivolous with money and giving money away, throwing money away. And now people are very, very tight-fisted with the money. People are no longer attracted to the influencers, not as attracted to the influencers that are flashing material things and vacations. People during COVID were equating success to the type of cars that people were driving, the vacations that they were going on, the types of clothing that they were wearing, the expensive jewelry and things like that. We're out of that market. We're in a whole new shift where people really care about being educated. If you want to be successful going into 2024, people don't want salespeople anymore. They don't want influencers. They want to be educated, and they want to have their hand held to the closing table to ensure that they're getting to the closing table with the best interest rates, with the best deals, with the best real estate agent, with the most knowledgeable contractors, with the most knowledgeable builders, with the most. It's no longer a flash game. You really have to be educated. And I think that if you walk into 2024 from a standpoint of being an educator and not a social media influencer, find a balance in between the two, it's going to be important. And really understand that we're going to, in 2024, we're going to see a couple shifts in the market. You're going to see, now we have that senior population is growing vastly. And what you're going to see is a lot of those companies that do the reverse mortgages, they're out and they're targeting those people. You really have to be in position to understand what that reverse mortgage is, how it can affect the consumer, and how you can either help them to go into a senior community or be a step down buyer. So those are the things that I think as we go in technology, oh my God, technology and automation, you got to really be tip top on your game as far as automation is concerned and technology.
I love it. We'll get over to the tech side in just a sec and really kind of have you kind of share your take and what you're seeing, where that direction's going, and some concrete stuff. But I think, getting a little bit deeper here into the population that is one of the largest populations especially from a homeownership standpoint and what's happening. I have several clients that that's their main focus is the senior community, and through that transition, and how to navigate those waters and be that resource for them. And it's like you said, on the educate side of things. So do you have some statistics, just kind of really what that opportunity looks like and the best way to approach it, and just best practices of, is that something, maybe even a question to ask yourself if you even want to go down that path, what you need to be prepared to have to be able to show that you are an authority figure, you do know what you're talking about, to help with that population.
And I think it's gonna vary based on the cities, the states. Like Florida is going to be, if you're in Florida, if you're in retirement states like Florida, you're going to have a heavier populated community of seniors than you would a place like New York. I think that that's going to be research that every real estate agent is going to have to do. But I think that also, because Social Security is not going to be able to afford a lot of people the lifestyle, I think that we automatically assume that once somebody goes over to the retirement side, that they're retiring with well vested stock plans and different things like that. The majority, if you do the numbers, 60% of our senior population is on Social Security and at a poverty level, at a lower poverty level. So with that, what ends up happening is they cannot afford these senior living communities, and that's a huge number. 60% is a huge number of our senior population that is living below the poverty line. So with that, when you think about these senior homes that they have to go into that are skilled nursing facilities and things like that, those things are $5,000 a month. And if they're receiving Social Security, they really can't afford that. That's something that really is unobtainable for a lot of people. And then if you go into a nicer one, they can be $10,000 to $12,000 a month. And if your Social Security check is not covering that, a lot of times this elderly population cannot afford to live by themselves. They can't afford to live in those skilled nursing facilities. But the thing that we have to really understand is the economic disparities between the different segments of populations and how that can impact the affordability and accessibility to housing for our senior community. What does that mean? What that is going to mean for us is now we have to go back to a time when we're looking for affordable housing for seniors. What we have is a shortage of the government paying for people to live in these senior communities that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. But what they will pay for is nurses to actually come to the home. So now when you tell a senior citizen that it's time for them to downsize, yes, going into a skilled nursing facility, if you have certain medical ailments, is going to be key. But if they still have all of their faculties and they just need somebody for ADLs, the assisted daily living functionality, the government will pay for that. So now if you have a house that you can sell that's $800,000 and you own it outright, because most of the people in these senior populations, they own their homes outright. You have a home that's $800,000. You can definitely buy a home that's $400,000 and now put $400,000 into your account to be able to live from, and have a government entity that's going to send in a nurse to your actual home to do the ADLs. So I think that there's going to be more of a time. I think that real estate agents now we have gotten a bad stigma attached to real estate agents, where it says that we're just in this to make money. We're just in this to drive fancy cars. We're just in it to be
status.
Yeah, status. So that part of us has to go away. We really have to be community advocates. And if you're on that with the senior community, you have to be an advocate for that senior population. And part of being an advocate for that senior population is understanding, is it a good time for them to sell their homes and go into a senior facility, or what actual opportunities are offered to them in order for them to be able to have nursing services come to the house? What no longer are we going to be in a place where we can't be compassionate as real estate agents. I think our passion for people, our purpose for being in this business is what's going to change the dynamic of what our business will look like. And it will shift, because one thing that I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a relationship business. And when you start doing good business, you start doing caring business, you start doing compassionate business, and you don't do it for the money will come.
Doing the right thing. And I think it's this shift into really being consultative, really being that true expert advisor. And you cannot prescribe the right solution until you really become very inquisitive and ask the right questions and really determine kind of all the facts, instead of just going in to try to get the listing and get it sold to get a commission check. Like, you've really got to step back and look at it, with without the blinders, but really the whole picture. You need the whole thing, and understand that, you're not the hero here, right? You're helping them get to the solution, especially through this transition of their life. And, you're also going to be dealing with you're going to be dealing with their kids and other family members, and you've got a mix of personalities. So I love this, because it is a challenge. It is an opportunity. If you were to say, hey, here are the key ingredients that you need, capabilities that you need to develop, or you need to be paying attention to, if you really want to do what's right and thrive with the senior population, like, give me like the Cliff Note version of, hey, you need to know this, this, and this.
Honestly, I think that you have to know the players. You have to know the players. In every city, there's a aging government body that does nothing but govern policy for the senior community. You got to be familiar with those people. You have to be familiar with, and I think that goes across any spectrum. I think that we have to do a better job as real estate agents at getting involved in those governmental affairs. Like, when they have meetings, we need to be there. When a city council is meeting, we need to be there. The only way that you can really understand what's going on with these types of policies and how you can be a help and a change agent is if you're there and you're part of the solution. And if the people that are sitting, one of the things that I know is that people that are sitting in the offices, they want to hear our voice. And if I'm the person that's at the doctor's offices where the senior population is going, if I'm the person that's at the VA where the veteran VA, the senior veterans are going, if I'm the person that's at these government meetings talking to them and helping to really forge policy forward that protects our seniors, when they have referrals, who do you think they're going to call? Mm-hmm. Now you have to become the face of whatever you want your business to look like. If it's the senior population, you got to become the face of that. When it's a doctor's office, when it's people that have probate and a person has passed away, those probate attorneys have to know you. The government entities, the policymakers, they have to know you. The people that are at the senior housing, they have to know you. So the first step is to get out in the community. We can't sell real estate from behind a desk anymore. The very first thing is to get out and get to know the people, get to know the areas that a lot of the senior population, they don't drive. So you want to make sure that they're in close proximity to grocery stores. So when there are transportation services, they can get to malls quickly. They can get to grocery stores quickly. Some of them can still walk, like they can still do different things. You want to make sure that they're in close proximity to parks so they can get out and get fresh air. So really understanding the area that you serve is going to be critical as well. But most importantly, really understanding what types of loan products are out there for people that are over 65 is definitely going to be key. But most importantly, just be the face of everything that you want your business to stand for.
Yeah, no, I love that. Just thinking back, making sure that you're, if you want to go down that route or anything in your business, I think getting to know the decision makers and the influencers in your community who really makes the decisions. Like for us, we knew, we were part of the economic development committee. We knew the city, was really the city manager, not the mayor, really ran the city. So getting to know who's really running the city, getting to know who the key influencers are, the presidents of the banks,
Yes.
the small business owners that have a lot of influence.
Yes.
Like developing those relationships are so key.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, we just provided market information. We kept them in tune to what was going on in the market, housing, inventory, sales prices, what we're seeing, trends, things to be on the lookout for. And we just provided that. I mean, the guys, they still do that to this day. Something that I set up back in 2009, they still inform them on a weekly basis of what's going on in the market. Military town for us, so it was housing. So being able to stay in tune what's going on with housing.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what you said there. Know the players, know the community, and then just know what the best financing and term options and things that are out there. And listen. I think that's another key critical trait here is developing the capabilities to listen. And, everybody listening in, what Nicole is sharing, she's talking about certain skills and certain attributes and certain capabilities. All of those things can be developed. You just have to determine where you need a little more help and then go all in on it. Like what are the like if you struggle at relationships and getting out and communicating, I can promise you there's 4 or 5 different books that you can get right now that will help you with that. There's Nicole, I had one of my long-term clients. He wanted to be a better leader and he wanted to do a better job at being able to get up in front of strangers and talk. He got into Toastmasters for a year, changed his whole life, right?
Yes.
So there's different things that you can do to get involved to improve. But that's where I see a huge challenge and a huge opportunity in what's lacking to be able to up your professionalism, up your game, whatever you want to say. So I love that.
The other thing too is that when you come from see what we're talking about, this won't be relatable for a lot of people because a lot of people are thinking about how do I pay my mortgage next month? And I get it. How do I keep my lights on next month? What we're giving them is a recipe for them to stay in business for the next 10 years. Because the person that's just chasing, how do I just keep my lights on for next month? And I get that. I get it because I've been so broke the back of my refrigerator was staring at me. So I get that. But these recipes that we are giving you are for you to create a sustainable business where you don't have to go to get the business because real estate, as soon as you close a deal, you're unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
The strategy that we're giving you, saying be the face of your business, know all of the key players, that's creating a sustainable business that's going to be a 10-year business because a lot of the policymakers and the government officials, they're going to be there for the next 5, 10, 15 years. The people that are running the nursing homes, they're going to be in place. All of these things, the people, the communities, all of that, it's going to be in place. It's only your job to learn it, to master it, and then continue to scale every day, scale from where you are and not having to continue. I think as real estate agents, we have this shiny syndrome, this shiny object syndrome, where as soon as something is not happening to the speed that we want it to right away, we're in a microwave society that we just change. No, you don't change. You get in there, you stick, you stay, you fight until you become the best at it. I want to walk in a room and no longer have to introduce myself. I know John Kitchens. I knew John Kitchens before John Kitchens even asked me to come on this podcast. When he asked me to come on this podcast, I was elated because he no longer has to introduce himself.
I love that. Nicole, so many great things in what you're saying there. And one of my favorite quotes from Dan Sullivan, and this goes back to people that are fighting for survival. And the reality is that if you're just always fighting for survival, you will always fight for survival. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite quotes from Dan is that if you're not happy with your present situation, it's because your future is not big enough. For our present to be better, our future has to be bigger.
Oh my God, are you gonna send me this? I gotta watch this. But
that's the thing, right? Is because they're only thinking about that next paycheck. Yes. But if they would step back and say, okay, if I had to get a paycheck a week, how would I do it? And that's the power of thinking bigger, is that it forms artificial constraints. Because think about it, like when that the back of the refrigerator was staring at you, and we've all been there in some situation, right? Where we feel defeated, we feel down as down can be. And the thing is that we figure a way out to get that paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So why not use the same mental capacity instead of trying to figure out one paycheck? What if you had to figure out 10 paychecks?
Yes.
And it's really in our thinking. And if you use that 10x exercise or whatever, and it's like, okay, I need one paycheck a month. Well, what if you had to get one paycheck a day? What if you had to do like 30 closings in a month?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's not possible. It is possible. But so let me change the game for you. If you don't sell 30 houses in the next 30 days, you're going to lose your kids and your family.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you would figure out a way to get 30 houses sold in the next 30 days. It's gun against head theory, right? If you don't figure this out, you're losing something. You're losing your life. You're losing your loved ones. It's kind of morbid, but it's just a way to think differently, and you think with more urgency. And it's the same energy, Nicole, this. It's the same energy to figure out one paycheck as it is the same energy to figure out 10.
Yes.
Why not figure out how to get 10 in a week instead of one?
Absolutely.
And so it forms that constraint. I want to shift over because I want to touch on two more things. I want to make sure we come back to the tech and the automation and AI and everything there, because it's a challenge. It's a main challenge, but it's also a great opportunity. But you touched on something coming out of COVID. And, we talked about the senior population, and a lot of them have been in the home for a long time. We just finally, we lost my dad last year, and we finally got his home sold. And so, I understand. Everything you were talking about, I get it. We just lived it over the last 8 months. And, but you said something about kind of what COVID created. I think COVID, on the real estate side of things, created a lot of fakeness. I think it also created a lot of bad behaviors, and people were rewarded for bad behavior. And they're starting to see that right now. Right. So it's like, you hear, get back to the basics, get back to building the foundation. Mm-hmm. And that's where my mind's at right now is, are we building on a solid foundation? I don't know many Bible verses, but the one that I do know is Matthew 7, where it talks about, build on rock, not on sand.
Yes.
And I think it's where you're at right now with your businesses. And this is like what you said, for the long haul, for the next 10 years, that's a foundation. Mm-hmm. But you were talking about coming out of COVID, and I think that, we have this in our mind that, people have a lot of equity in their home. Mm-hmm. They do. Mm-hmm. However, there's some people that took advantage of the COVID situation and didn't make many payments.
Yep.
And so, they're not in as favorable as a situation as you may believe, or they may believe. So I think that there's an opportunity there to look at, who maybe bought their homes right around that time frame that may be getting a little antsy. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of the conversations that I've had with the agents that also push on the investment side of things, that run a lot of the cash offers, home sold guarantees. Mm-hmm. We all know, Mark Spain's all over the country now. Mm-hmm. Built that damn empire out of Atlanta, your home sold guaranteed. Yes. You still run into this day. So yes. Cash offer guaranteed. But what I'm seeing is a lot of these mega team owners, they're getting back into the investment opportunities. So there is a real demand out there for motivated sellers. Yeah. So to me, it's a little bit of it's a challenge if you don't understand it, but it is a huge opportunity if you can start crafting an offer. And from a time standpoint, right? Return on time. I think a lot of agents are not, they miss that equation. Mm-hmm. And understanding, guys, like, I think that the challenge is just sticking on the buy side. I think your opportunity is shifting over to the listing side, because it's a quarter to a third less time working with sellers than it is with buyers. And I'm going to say it again, like, focus on that area, go deep, adopt, model your open house strategy. You're good. Like, I mean, you could hit your financial goals in real estate just doing that, the way you do it. And so, guys, if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. Pick Nicole's brain on that. Are you seeing any other challenges or ways to navigate or ways to look at that on the listing side, but also the motivated seller opportunity?
I have two great answers for that, John. I think the first one is, one of the things that we saw during COVID is, because people were having, from wherever the monies were coming from. I don't know about you, in your town, but like, especially here in Atlanta, I saw people, and in Chicago, I saw people buying homes that I knew. I was selling homes to people that I know, because one of the things that I encourage my buyers to never do is to buy on the top of their price point. I saw so many people during COVID buying homes based on where they were then during that 1 year time frame. You were never at that financial status before that year. And now that COVID is, coming past, and the real challenges of COVID are coming to light now, they can't afford it. They can't afford these huge homes. You went and bought a 6,000 square foot home, but you were only thinking about the rent. You didn't think about in the wintertime what it was going to take to keep the lights, the gas, and the maintenance. And they really, really cannot afford it. I'm getting so many calls from so many people that aren't my clients, were my clients, where they're saying, I'm struggling to keep up. I lost my job. I still have my job. I didn't plan for this. They didn't plan on still being able to, if the mortgage is $5,000, they weren't thinking ahead that now you can only afford that $5,000. You can't take your kids to Disney. So there are more people than not that are right now that are in position where they're either going to lose their house. We're going to see, by the end of this year, we're going to see a foreclosure spike. But before that foreclosure spike happens, what we're going to see is more cash buyers are going to step in and make sure that we don't go to the type of foreclosure market that we hit in 2008, 2009. So with that being said, right now is an amazing opportunity for real estate agents to really jump in and go two different directions. The first one, and I hate to say this, and babe, if you're watching, I love you and I want to stay together, but there are so many people that, because of finances, their marriages are going through hell. Yep. Their finances are broken, and in turn, because they didn't have a stable foundation in their marriage, their marriages are broken. So the divorce rate is going up tremendously. If you have not already adopted that practice of, if you want to be in that market, some people don't want to be in that market. If you want to shift and not do senior population, the divorce community is on a rise. And most people that get married, they do one of two things: they buy a house or they have a baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's the D's, right? It's death, it's divorce, it's diamonds, and it's diapers, right?
Yeah. So getting involved in that, going to I don't necessarily, if I was going to work with that divorce population, I probably would get a strong Facebook ad, but I would definitely be in all of the places where the divorce attorneys are. And I will be hitting those divorce attorneys all the time, because think about it. It can potentially be 3 sales for you. You're going to have the sale of the house, the sale for the wife, and the sale for the husband. And if both the husband and the wife don't want to use you for whatever reason, if you have a partner on your team, you toss that other deals to the partner on your team. But really focusing in on that divorce population right now is going to be key. And that population of people who are ready to sell because they want to have a home. They just don't want to have the home that they're in. So you can either find one of these programs that will buy your house. If you buy mine, any of those, but more importantly, just having a plethora. I have a database of investors and I know all of their buy boxes. So as soon as I hear somebody say they can't afford their mortgage, do you want to sell right now, or are you willing to put it on the market? And a lot of that is going to be, you have to really be able to run a good CMA. A lot of real estate agents don't even know how to run a CMA. You got to know how to run a good CMA to know if it's a situation where they can put the house on the market and make some money, or if they just need to get out quick, do they need to send it to an investor? And really having a system, systemize how you do your business. And in systemizing that business, you have to really understand when is the time for them to go on the market and when is the time to do a quick out. If they aren't able to buy a house right away because they've had late payments, those are the people that you gotta have. We're back to the basics. I remember credit repair was taboo and people were saying, I already paid for credit repair. It's this, it's that, it's this. The credit repair agencies, there are some solid credit repair agencies. You got to have a systematic approach to saying, we're going to sell your home, but we're going to put you on a 15 to 18 month program, and you got to follow up. Your CRM is going to be critical through that 15 to 18 months. What's going to change the dynamic of your business is saying, okay, I sold your home today, but I know in 15 to 18 months, I'm going to have another buy in the pipeline, and I'm going to have home buying seminars. And I want you to come to every home buying seminar that I have. When we get closer, I'm going to put you on a list to come to my open houses that are in the areas that you want to purchase in, because even for me as a real estate agent, it's a car that I want so bad. I can't afford it. I probably won't be able to afford it for another 3 years. Now the Denver is on the way, but I go to that dealership every 3 months, and they know me when I'm coming in. They like, oh, she just test drive and she's just test driving. They're like, where is it the time that you actually ready? I'm like, no, give me a couple years. But it helps me to work harder to get to that car. People are the same way. If you help them sell because they have to sell right now, you keep them in your pipeline. Because if you do 50 people like that, that means that you know you got 50 sales coming back. If you follow up with them appropriately, if you have them come to open houses so they can stay eager, so they can stay hungry, if you have them come to home buying seminars so they can keep it on their radar, they're not going to keep it on the radar if you don't help them keep it on the radar. So really getting with those investors right now, and knowing when it's the time to list and when it's the time to get with these investors. One of the things that an investor will do, and I want to encourage you to make sure that your paperwork is solid. I love my investors, but I will tell you, investors are very, very, very bottom line driven. If they can cut you out as the agent and go directly to the seller, they will. So you got to make sure that your listing agreements are good, and you got to make sure with these investors that you work with, they generally won't sell and sign an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement with you because they work with so many different real estate agents, but you have to have them sign an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement as it pertains to that property.
Yeah.
This is a property I bought you. So this is an agreement that you have to sign with me for this property, not exclusive for everything. And make sure that your listing agreements are tight. And guess what? If you connect that dot, that's a 6% commission, as opposed to you having to go out and sell 2 homes at, 2-3% commission. So you want to be the solution in this market. And I think that people that are investor-friendly real estate agents and understand the difference in between an ARV and a CMA, and really get the lingo of investors, but then also understand where the market is, they're going to be so extremely successful in 2020.
I love that. And, if you're really becoming a student, you need to be a student of the market, just like you're, talking in here, knowing the area. You can also kind of, while you're studying the market, you can also study the opportunities. And that's the thing with investors is you got it. They don't, what are you doing for them? They can go find deals. You got to bring deals for them.
Yes.
And, just know they're only as loyal as the deal that you bring them. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. It. Absolutely. And the other thing one thing that I know about investors that, the investors that I've come in contact with is, it doesn't matter when we're trying to figure out, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What kind of market is it? Investors don't care if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. They're numbers driven. They only care about the numbers. They don't care if we're in, now they may shift from doing fix and flips to buying wholes depending upon the market. But if the numbers make sense, they're always going to buy. So I am 100%. My better half, shout out to Gerard Sales Atlanta, is a realtor as well, but he only focuses on investing. But guess what ended up happening to him as he was working with investors? Now he worked with so many investors. We make so there's no other business. I don't know many other businesses that you can do one transaction and walk away with a $15,000 commission. You can walk away with a $30,000 commission. I've got some agents right now that are in my program that are having $50,000, $100,000 months. You have $100,000 month and you've been working with investors. Now you're training your mind to work for investors. Now you're training your mind to think like an investor, and now you become an investor. I don't want to sell real estate for the rest of my life. I want to have 100 paid off doors that are paying me a minimum of $1,000 a month. That's $100,000. So it should force you into a position where now you start realizing that you can invest your money the same way they can. And now when those deals come, you're buying them, not just selling them.
And, we get so, just get stuck into kind of, oh, this is how it is. You got to be creative and understand that it's a creative world. And I had Kyle Whistle on about this time last year. And he was talking about the things, the 15 key things to think about going into the new year. And one of the things that he talked about was exactly what you just said. He's like, here's the deal, man. He's like, you are in a position as a real estate agent to find the opportunities.
Yes.
And you just have to have the belief and the mindset that this is your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
The money's there.
Absolutely.
And Kyle was like you hold the leverage when you have the deal. Go find the person that has the money and how you want to structure and put yourself into the deal. And he's like, shit, if you get in a bind, like I'll invest with you. And it's just knowing, right? Like you find the opportunity and you understand how to look at it in the math, and you want to tie yourself to it. There's always ways to do it. You got to be creative and got to be open to finding it. So I love that. Real quick, and then I want to transition over to the tech side of things as a challenge and a huge opportunity. The thing, Nicole, that you hit on a couple things. You talked about, the buyers where they're struggling. And then that's just not the agent in the beginning, just didn't have that tough conversation about future home ownership. Mm-hmm. And, when you look at on the buy side, I mean, really, if you want to step back, I mean, there's 80 to 100 different variables that go into really executing at a high level on a great home buying strategy, from needs and wants to, the future home ownership and factoring that in and having those conversations. And it's the same thing on the listing side, right? Being able to have those tough conversations. What if the home doesn't sell? But I loved what you said, and I think so many people got away from this or haven't even thought about this, is possibly getting back and running those home selling, those home buying type seminars, because what that can do for you, it's one to many, but it also gives you an opportunity to create that content. Mm-hmm. And then now you almost have like a webinar, yep, or a buyer process. So guess what? A buyer comes in, does a home search. You have a conversation. Yep. Say, hey, I want you to check out my home buying seminar. I'm going to send it over to you before we meet tomorrow. Can you promise me you'll watch it? Right? It becomes that pre-close type video. Now you have that asset. So that's just some creative ways I just want to kind of give some creative ways to what you were saying. Let's talk tech. Let's talk automation. Let's talk AI.
Say this for people. I'm sorry, I had my heater on. I do want to say this about home buying seminars too. I think for home buying seminars, people get into, because we've seen so many of the social media influencers and so many people that are having these events that put 10, 15, 20 people on a flyer. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's only something wrong with that when it comes to your home buying seminar. Your home buying seminar is an opportunity for you to connect with the audience. It's an opportunity for them to get to know, love, and trust you. If you have 15 different people speaking at your home buying seminar and you only get up there for 10 minutes just to enter, I've seen some seminars like that, and I'm like, what is the person doing? You have to be the person at your seminar that, even I'm going to talk about every loan product. I'm going to bring a lender up. But by the time the lender comes up, I want my people to know that I understand every part of this process, even if it's a process that I'm not technically included in the underwriting process. I understand the entire process. What they're going to come up and tell you is a reinforcement after I've already given you my 2 hours. So you become the subject matter expert at the inspection, at the appraisal, at the closing process. You can bring those people up, but you only bring them up after you've gone up there for 2 hours and did an entire home buying seminar based on your knowledge, based on your understanding.
Authority.
That's it. That's it. So stop it. Stop doing these seminars where you get up there for 10 minutes, guys. That's not what this is supposed to.
You got to control them. You got to never lose control of the room. You're always at the front of the room. So that's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. So challenge with tech, challenge with automation, challenge with AI. Like where do you think, real estate agents kind of heading into the new year need to really need to pay attention to this?
I think for tech more than ever, because we have to do a better job at getting outside. We talked about that at first, and we have to get back a better job at doing the basics. And there was a time when we didn't have social media. Well, I had it in my time, but when real estate agents were building their business, they didn't have social media. They didn't have all of this. They really had to get in the street, and they were building multi-million-dollar businesses by building relationships. You have to have your technology in place. Your CRM is the key to your success. And I don't care what CRM you use. I've used KV Core. I've used Chime. I was at KW at one point in my career, and I used Command. It doesn't matter what CRM you use. You got to start out and you got to use some CRM that's going to help you to be effective in your business, because it's impossible for you to run a business and not have that client relationship management tool. That's the first part of technology. And people always say, my system, my system, my system. Your CRM is not your system. It's a tool. Your systems are how you run your business, and your tools are what you use to run your business. Those are two different things. They're not the same.
No.
So I think the first thing is your CRM. The second thing is I see a lot of listing. I see a lot of listing descriptions. I see a lot of things on social media that you're creating the presence of authority. You cannot create a presence of authority if half of the things in your listing agreement are misspelled. Your listing description has to be captivating, because guess what? The neighbors that you're listing their neighbor's home, when you get through listing and you put it up, the first people that are going to see it before a person that's even ready to buy is the neighbors. The neighbors are looking to see how much you listed their neighbor's home for. They're looking to see who you are. They're looking at that description. And if that description is not appealing, if there's misspellings in there, if there are things that they can tell that you technically didn't really research this neighborhood, you just threw some stuff in there just to get that house listed. When you get ready to do that open house, or when they get ready to sell, and you go through my open house process, they're not going to use you as a real estate agent, because you already set yourself up to look unprofessional. You can use Chat GPT. Go in there, program your Chat GPT. That's a whole nother class, but go in there and program your Chat GPT to spit you out a professional, appealing, attractive listing description. We have so many tools out here that you can use to help you write an attractive description. That's the second thing. The first one is definitely utilizing your CRM and making sure, and going back before I even talk about that listing description, going back to your CRM. I'm passionate about this, John. I got so much to say. I feel like I'm all over. But going back to that CRM, with your CRM, utilizing your CRM to keep up with your people and following up, making sure that you have the right. Do not just go in and use one of those programs that go in and does all of your smart campaigns for you. Have smart campaigns that people can feel. 75% of the people are not going to open that email that you send them through your smart campaign. But that 25% that does, they don't want to see a smart campaign that looks just like somebody else's, because trust me, you're not the only real estate agent that's emailing them. So put some grit into your email. It doesn't have to be long to be gritty. Just put some grit, put some substance, put your personality in it. Some of them have them be an actual video that shows your personality. There's not a word out here that you can type that can describe describe your personality the way that you can by actually getting up there doing a video. But more importantly, now make sure that you have a CRM where you can zap in a couple different programs where now they're actually, once they close with you, they're every 6 months getting a CMA that's automatically going to them. Make sure that you're able to do Facebook ads and different landing pages and things like that through your CRM that are going to bring you consistent lead flow every single day. So you're not out here having to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for leads. So I would have been remiss if I didn't go back and really talk about the functionality of the CRM. And I make sure that through my CRM, you want to have different phases. I have the people that are potential clients, but they need credit repair. I have them with one hashtag. I have people that are potential clients, but they just don't have any money and they live in a specific area. The down payment assistance may not be there for. I have them. You want to make sure that you have your people segmented in your CRM so they're getting a different message. Don't just send a blanket message out to all of your prospects. It doesn't work like that. Don't be lazy. Take your time, hashtag out all of the different people that are being attracted to your message, and make sure that you have a message that goes specifically to them from your CRM. And then when somebody is in the buy process, don't be one of those real estate agents that a person gets to the closing table and they're like, whew, that process was a doozy. No, you're going to do a buyer consult. You're going to do a listing consult. You're going to explain due diligence periods. You're going to explain appraisal contingencies, all of that stuff. Although you explained it, they're not going to remember any of that stuff by the time it gets to the actual process. You want to have a detailed email that lists out each function of the appraisal, each function of the inspection, each function of that due diligence period. So they have something to reference back to that they can read. And if they have questions, they can pick the phone up and call you. But those are the things that you need to have stored. You can either have them stored in your CRM so you can send them out very easily, or you can go right in Gmail. If you go in Gmail, there's 3 dots at the little bottom where you can create a template, and you can store all of those emails as templates. So it's easy for you in your system, your systematic way that you do business. When it's time for the inspection, you just go to your Gmail, shoot that template out. But making sure that you're educating on a higher level is going to be so very important. This year, I'm taking my game to a whole different level. I had, and I wish I could share my screen, but I have all of my emails listed out in templates. I'm no longer going to send them that as an email. I've recorded the entire process for inspections, the entire process for the appraisals. So when they get that, they're going to get an actual link to their text message that is a video that will pop up of my face. And I'm going to explain what I already explained to them. And then they're also going to get it in an email. I'm not going to decide if you're a text or email person. I'm just going to send both. And if you get it all,
let them figure it out.
Yeah. But now it's changing how you do business by using technology. I'm using Loom to do it, to do my videos. And in Loom, when I'm talking about the inspection process, I'm actually showing an inspection behind me, and I'm going through and I'm pointing out the things that they'll receive when they get the inspection report. The same thing with the appraisal. I go through an actual appraisal with them, and I'm sending them that video. I'm completely using technology to change how I communicate with my clients, because I want them to get to the closing table and feel like, oh my God, this was an amazing experience. I'm so educated, I feel like I can be a real estate agent. It's so critical right now for you to use these types of things in your business to look more professional. You want to create an omnipresence in all of your social media pages, from realtor.com, Zillow, Google. Just have an omnipresence across all of them, and then have from a technology standpoint, I'm going to always have business cards, because you'll have some of those people that say, oh, you're going to give me that old technology thing. They want the actual card. But I have a link tree to make sure that it has all the kind of ways that people can get in touch with me. But I also have an Instacart, like Instacart. They have an Instacart. I have an Instacart that has all my contact information on it. And immediately, I'm giving people an opportunity to write me a Google review. So on the back of my card, I have a QR code that right there, because people are Googling now more than ever. People are back looking at Google more than they are your website, and they're looking at how many reviews that you have. So you want to go in and you want to build your reviews up and ask for the review right away. And you don't have to just get a review from your client. You can get, right now, I'm having a conversation with John. John, I'm going to send you an email and I need a review from you. Like your brokers, other real estate agents, everybody. Yeah. But that technology is going to be so key this year to running an effective business and creating automation in your business.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that's where they need to start. Don't go down chasing shiny objects. Don't get distracted by this or that, this AI thing, this, that. Like, get the foundation, get the CRM dialed in, get your communication and how you can, if you have to say, if you're saying the same thing over and over to clients, which you will, but you also need to back it up with a video. You need to back it up with written. You need to be able to make it easy with text and then a link to click on. So that is the foundation. I think that's the challenge, is that agents don't have it, but that's the opportunity to be able to build that foundation that'll serve you into the future and not let things fall through the cracks. It's just so crazy because it goes back to that survival conversation we talked about earlier, is that they're only fixated on people that are buying now. They're not thinking about people that are going to buy, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months from now. They're only thinking about who's doing something in the next 30 days. But your CRM, where it lives, is there. And then with the automations, you can, keep nurturing on them, stay top of mind. Right. Before we went live, you talked about market share. Well, market share is impossible without mind share. Absolutely. Mind share first. What are you doing to stay top of mind? And then the business will come.
Yes. I love that, John. And John, and I know we probably got to wrap soon, but one last thing that I want everybody to be able to eat and feed their families. And I definitely don't want to put anybody out of business, but I do want to say this. I see so many real estate agents that have 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 followers. They have an email database that has 1,500 people in it. And you haven't properly nurtured the 5,000 people that you have on your social media pages, the 10,000 people that you have on your social media pages, the 1,500 people that you have in your database. You haven't properly nurtured them, but you would get a phone call from one of these companies that says you can be the exclusive realtor in this particular zip code with a group of people that don't know you from Adam, and you give them $3,000 a month to connect you with some people, and you have not fine-tuned the people that you already have. It's lunacy. It's insane. Stop it.
I love it.
Stop it. One of the things that just today I was telling my group, the simple things that you can do. Think about it. People, again, we're talking about people want to be educated and they want to feel like they know you. They want to feel like they're a part of your story. They want to feel like they are an intimate part of your life, even if it is that they only know you on social media. There are little things that you can do to start nurturing these people. And if you're not already doing it, forward. When you think about social media and the people that are on social media, that acronym for it, and I hope that we're not going to get in trouble for using the acronym for it, but family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. People are going to tell you everything you need to know about them on social media. They are going to tell you everything that you need to know of how to communicate with them and what to communicate with them. Yeah. As soon as somebody posts a birthday, if you haven't been in their inbox emailing them saying happy birthday, you're doing your business a disservice. If somebody has had somebody that's passed away, if you haven't sent them some kind of grievance card, you're doing your business a disservice. If somebody says they've gotten a promotion, you need to be the first person in their inbox telling them congratulations on the promotion. And when you're doing that, for my birthday emails, that my birthday videos that I'm sending out to people, I'm telling them happy birthday. I'm a Leo. I love Leo. So I'm always going to challenge them. We're in Capricorn season right now. Hey, it's Capricorn season. I hear the Capricorns are this, 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 and this. You guys are still not better than Leos. However, happy birthday, my friend. I hope today is an absolutely amazing day. And if you decide that on this amazing birthday that you want to buy yourself a home, remember that I'm everybody's favorite real estate agent, Nicole, and I would be honored to be the person that sits across the table from you, Mr. or Mrs. Capricorn, at that closing table. And then I'm saying I would love to be able to send you a physical birthday card or email birthday card. So if you don't mind, respond back with your email address or your phone number. I can actually send you the card via text, email, or to your home or workplace, whatever information you feel like giving, please do. And I'm excited that you guys are having an amazing Capricorn season. I'm seeing Capricorns all over social media, so I would have been remiss if I didn't come here today to tell you happy birthday. What are they going to do? They're going to respond back and say thank you. They're either going to give you their telephone number, their email address. They may give it all to you. And where does that information go?
Better go in your CRM.
In your CRM. And then if somebody passes away, the exact same thing. People will not always remember what you said about the VA loan. They may not remember what you said about the jumbo loan, but my brother passed away the day after Christmas. I received so many cards and sympathy cards. And I will always remember those people because when I was in my state of grieving, they were there. They were the people that were there. People will do business with you, not because you're the smartest real estate agent, but because you built the best relationship.
It is. And it's the, the condolences, the congratulations, the let's celebrate, right? There's always a reason to connect. And, that was another absolute, gem right there of doing, obviously we're talking about automations, things that kind of scale, but we also got to do things that don't scale.
Yep.
And that's that personal connection, going deep on the relationships. And this is just a fantastic, fantastic nugget. Nicole, you are amazing. And I can't thank you enough for jumping in here, adding a ton of value, just like you did before. And I know we'll have to get you back sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you, John. Keep doing amazing works out here. We're all watching. We're all learning. We all appreciate you and love you. I know I do.
Oh, you're awesome. Appreciate you. Guys, make sure you guys connect with Nicole. Give her lots of love. And we'll see you guys next time. See ya.